Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tempest with a 2-0 lead currently up against Team GLuck. A little bit of experimentation there with the old Ana Nano Malthael comp, but they fell too far behind in the early game. It didn't work out in the end.
Cocoon? Everything off fire. And Sign had that all in play. So, going down to the basics of the draft, that's number one, what GLuck has to do.
Yeah.
Game number two. Let's just stay in one, and we'll see what happens. I think that really has to be coming down. Right now, their focusing seems to be very off meta for veer reasons. They should be putting heroes on top rather than what they feel comfortable. I think that's actually making them play worse right now.
Yeah. The Diablo pick, they picked first pick. Immediately, Tempest knew they were going to try to run the Medivh. It's very difficult to use Diablo and Sky Temple without Medivh because the distance between lanes is quite far. And Diablo doesn't have a gap closer unless he has a minion or a hero, whereas, for example, Muradin can jump out, Anub'arak can burrow charge out of a lot of these fights. Diablo can't do that, so he got caught in a lot of awkward positions where Medivh would have given him that escape. On Tomb of the Spider Queen, for example, Infernal Shrines, even Cursed Hollow to a lesser extent, like you have that consistent escape with Diablo where you know if things go wrong, I can get out using a minion because the lanes are so close. I can find a way out of this situation. Sky, not so much. Not without the Medivh. So Tempest is just thinking one step ahead. And then the Ana they weren't afraid of because, you know, it didn't work out and it wasn't meant to be. And it's not meta.
Yep, it's not meta. There are reasons. You have to find the target and you have to hit the target. And that's not even the most amount of healing. Maybe if Ana has more healing amount, maybe we'll consider her later. But White Mane just seemed like a better one with Cleanse as well. We're headed into Towers of Doom. Interesting, out of all the other maps the Tempest had in their hand, I was expecting maybe just a Spider, maybe Cursed, BOE, but not this one.
Yeah, Towers of Doom is very macro-focused, obviously.
Maybe they want to try Lockdown's Dehaka a little bit more.
Yeah, I think, you know what? That's, I think, a pretty good explanation for why we see this map here.
That's like the first thing that comes to my mind. Lockdown's Dehaka against Genji. I was very, actually tilted from seeing that kind of macro from Lockdown when they had the role change on one of the most important match for them. So maybe just putting themselves down, getting some more experience, making sure they grab that Dehaka, and for the next matchup versus Ballistics, they should be getting ready for that as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was actually pretty impressed with what his Dehaka was able to do in Game 1. But I think we do have to put the asterisk that this is against GLuck, right? And a very underperforming GLuck tonight, so...
And he was about to go down in his top Irel as well a few times. He was baiting at the same time, but with different teams, I would say even Miracle at that level, maybe it's not going to be the same.
Finally, the Anub'arak ban emerges.
Nice.
Finally, we will see this Maiev first pick. Let's see if they can find the right heroes to pair with it.
Maiev, and then Illidan. So there's that story pairing up together.
Yeah.
And then Malfurion, so you connect that as well. And then... what else? I don't know. I'm lacking my WoW knowledge here.
Okay, I was like, I was just being like, yeah, okay. Like, I was like, I don't know where you're going with this because I don't think those three heroes work together at all. But like, all right.
Well, that's Anub'arak's not the only hero that Sign's good at. You have the Diablo.
Warden's Cage doesn't work on Illidan when he's unstoppable on the hunt, right? So like. That's doesn't that kind of break the lore? I think that's what's supposed. Isn't she supposed to like imprison him?
But when he's on the animation of Irel with White Mane, that's not a bad one. But when, oh no, I mean ETC. When if Irel's banned, ETC is gonna have a tough time. We're gonna be looking for that.
It's really tough to figure out what this draft is supposed to do. They banned the Rainer. I would have. For me, I look at this and I'm like, this looks like a really good comp for Li Ming or a Junkrat. So, Junkrat might just be taken away from them. Like, if GLuck goes, okay, we're banning Junkrat, and then Tempest takes Li Ming, now I have a million question marks over my head as to what GLuck is going to do with this.
Even a Phoenix spin, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
Pairs
Phoenix
up
I think
really
is
good.
Phoenix is best here.
Really good with Diablo, pretty good rotation. And Hanzo's like, there were lots of options here in this third ban. So GLuck, actually they are trying something else with ETC. As long as they find, because they banned, because Tempest banned Rainer, they will at least find one Blaze or Irel. So that's not too bad of a news for ETC.
Okay, well there's the Li Ming I was talking about. So
Haka from Lockdown.
yeah, and you're correct on your prediction on that. The question that is left unanswered is what will we see Overlord play here?
It was also a snipe one. Li Ming. Kel'Thuzad?
Please.
Less-
G-Club, please.
Less burst damage.
You're never going to kill
Look
Diablo
at his eyes.
with that.
Look at his eyes.
Okay, he just takes the Junkrat here.
Yeah, good pair up with Maiev.
Sonya is also good with
They're
Maiev.
bringing back their old favorite. And that's how you play Ana. Hyde wants to show that.
Oh my god.
It's actually really good when there's a mosh pit. If you just hold that sleep dart, it's really easy.
Sleep Dart can shut down a lot of what ETC and Sonya are doing. Nano Boost with Li Ming is the strongest Nano Boost target in the game. Obviously, we saw, I think it was SDE actually who played the Li Ming that got Nano Boosted a while back now. Everything's fogging me. I've cast a lot of Heroes games this year, but this is the other Li Ming, or it's rather the other Ana combo. The first one was Malthael one, this was the second. We've seen Jaina every now and then.
Kel'Thuz, without the Ana though.
Yeah, that's, you know, Kel'Thuz has been nano boosted in professional maps before. That's like a Chinese thing, but...
Ana Genji. That's always a thing in Overwatch.
Well, it was a thing at the beginning of Genji's introduction to Heroes of the Storm, but it didn't last very long. Well, let's see how the execution is here. We could talk a little bit about, you know, why Tempest Ana draft is more consistent than GLuck's. I mean, it's about the nano boost for Li Ming, as long as she's in a good position to do damage, will always be valuable, whereas nano boost on Malthael is super situational.
And compared to the team comp that GLuck had with Ana last time, Brawl does have self-sustain, and Diablo kind of as well with the talents, but not as bad with Ana. There will great combo with the Far Slide and the mine there.
Yeah.
That was an insane one.
I mean, Dahaka was the best person they could have gotten. I guess Whitemane was the only other, or excuse me, not Whitemane, Ana was the only other one that would have been dead for sure. Everyone else could have probably gotten out of that. Well played by GLuck, getting first blood.
Actually, going for the grenade build instead of Sleeping Dart.
Yeah.
I guess you don't need as much. You're more concerned about the healing, because Whitemane does pull out a crazy amount of heal.
Yeah, but when it's completely reduced and you can't actually use it, then that's when Li Ming is going to get those low targets that are prevented from being healed. The Inquisition build is going to be used here again by KCB, and you know, that's a lot of to heal deny coming in from Ana. Let's see how this pans out. The double sleep I thought was going to be super good here, because you're dealing with both Sonya and ETC who are up in your face all the time. A lot of the time you'll end up getting the double sleep on both of them with the sleep dart build instead. Up in the top lane, it's a winning matchup for Sonya too. We don't really talk about this too much anymore because Sonya's so out of the meta, but it's actually pretty valuable that they have that control of the macro. Down here, it's not going too badly for them either.
There's a sleep dart. Don't get that anymore, but with Hyde, I guess he's really looking for late game to contest against the amount of healing. You can get so much more, or longer of a duration on that Bionic Grenade for your allies. So you can actually contest the healing amount, healing your allies for much, much longer of a time.
Yeah. Uh-oh, this is bad. That was a nicely placed concussive mine.
That's the panic just have to press that alt button.
Another thing to think about here too, GLuck, is that Sign on Diablo will have such a larger health pool than Muradin previously on Dragonshire, so there's so much more potential to just have that sustained healing with Ana and have that be very, very easy to execute, whereas Muradin, for example, will have to pop Avatar in order to be in that similar situation, and you needed the heals to be on the Malthael for the comp their ability. In this composition, you don't need the heals on anybody necessarily. You need the heals on the target who needs it, so you're not as limited as we saw previously KCB was with the Malthael.
Yeah, for sure. And Liming gets dominance every single kill. She heals herself back. So lots of self-sustain. You can't really say self-sustain to dominance, but less amount of healing actually needed from your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it's practically self-sustain.
And also bouncy. You don't really see that on TOD as much. A lot more back in Spider.
Yeah, that's true. It's still pretty solid here.
And a slam build. We did see that a couple of times for extra wave. But not the most common one for sure.
Let's see if GLuck can find a hole here in the setup of Tempest, because they need to, right? I mean, Sonya's here. She needs to find an angle in, needs to find an opportunity to fight, or they're going to lose this shrine. She stayed mid the entire time, so they didn't lose Soak, so they're even in experience. This has actually been GLuck's closest game so far. I mean, they have really managed to stay dead even. There was other games at 4 minutes, so we'd be looking at Tempest about to take level 10. Very different situation here. Tempest is going to have to play for the first time in this series.
Because they have, because they got the first one, and then they also have ETC super strong on early game. That's why Rockstar is putting himself all the way up there. He's trusting.
Okay, Sign's catching up, but he's got the power slide away. Good. Blown up here is just so low and cannot get out. So much good focus fire from GLuck.
Rockstar does survive with basically a semi-ancestral from White Main there. Yeah, this is also a thing you can actually cancel.
That's part of the reason why they're doing this, I think. Dami is caught, doesn't have Sundering. He's going to go down too. 3 kills to 0. As it turns out, when you try to pick a comp to style on people, it gets a little bit tougher.
Airstrike is the way to go. And Myson has been pulling a very good target, but it's Sign. Diablo will survive certainly this one, and they almost turned that around. Lockdown is the target this time because of mine. Oh, you can't get healed from Ana, and good zoning from Myson as well.
Yeah.
So this game, they're actually getting control with the spirits. Really good pressure. Every single time when they are going in, Myson's actually onto the side, grabbing Li Ming. The other time near the sappers, this time actually putting themselves back. Of course, Daka was going to go down very likely anyhow, but he's looking towards that next step all the time. He's already setting up for the next fight.
Sure. And GLuck needs to... This is going to be their first real test because, yeah, sure, they have a slight lead and 4 health, and they're going to have 10 first, which is insane, right? Like, given how the first 2 maps went. This is their test of what do they do while ahead? Where do they find advantages? Because if you look at the map right now, they have not set themselves up for any level 10 advantage. This rotation is too late. Stage dive is locked in just because of this. Not
just because of this. Also, global control from Tempest was a scary thing. Rocket ride!
Well, guess what, GLuck?
Another global?
Kind of. I don't know about this, man.
Now I don't know where this game is heading.
I mean, I think they only locked in the stage dive for that one moment. They can sort of kind of counter the Dahaka with stage dive, the global there, but I think it's more about...
They have...
This is so fun.
I guess they have the pair, the dive, and the ride.
I think that Junkrat is always going to be a much better way to counteract Dahaka than ETC is. Hey, they got the kill. They're taking 8 lead. I feel like in a lot of ways this game is...
Take the global, have Disc to have one down, and they're trying to set it up with the APOC, maybe the Thunder. It's actually going to help a lot with the APOC because it zones the entire choke point when you just press that as well. You just buy enough time for them to actually stay in the zone with the Thunder. You can kind of work the other way, but it's actually harder to do that in the choke point.
Remember that the big power spike for Tempest, and their strongest for the rest of this game, is already been reached. It's Nano Boost. That's where Li Ming is going to have a great strength. The next biggest power spike will be when Li Ming gets Mirror Ball at 16. And that's when, all hell could break loose here with Nano Boost, and GLuck needs to be ready for that.
Okay, I think GLuck is putting everything down. It's hard to go all the way to the back of Tempest and focus Anna because she's quite away, just putting down the darts all the time, healing. Have Stage Dive and Rocket together. Just focus Anna, make sure he gets all the explosion damage as well, and she will actually go down. Very likely if she's stuck in there.
Yeah. But if she has, if she's close enough to Nano Boost Li Ming, if she's close enough to Grenade, which obviously is, she's got range, so that's going to be easy. It's still tough, and Rocket Ride and everything else is going to make it a lot easier.
And Leap too. So basically it's an all-in, you dive, kill Anna, and then start 5v4.
Okay, let's see how this fight goes, because this is their biggest test, right? Can they shut this down?
Let's keep your eyes on Anna.
Okay.
So far, Dragon to HGC, great cleanse.
Now watch Li Ming, because that Sundering, I thought that was going to be where they committed to the Nano Boost. They're just holding it for now.
Rocket Ride canceled by the Wave of Force, and Overlord will be the one to fall. And Stage Dive as an escape. Oh, to save, I guess. His teammate way too late, so everything fall apart. So everything we thought we were going to see, not going to be here.
That was just, I mean, the most important thing was the Rocket Ride interrupt. Everything went downhill
like,
from
this
there.
is what we were expecting, right? It was going to be very likely a Clown Fiesta moment. And
that is certainly what I would describe this game as.
We were looking for that one perfect, everything pairing up together with the Leap, Stage Dive, the Rocket Glide, just boom. And Maiev just dives in with the Spirit. And a kill, and just disc one of them to make it a 5v3, and then GLuck just having fun from there.
I think, I talked about it last game, I'll say it again. I think that the coordination required to pull off this comp, as funny as it is and as cool as it is, and wombo combos, everybody loves that. It actually, like, GLuck is a team that is not coordinated enough to pull this off correctly. So as funny as it is and as kind of memey as it is, and, we could say Clown Fiesta, etc., like, Tempest had a massive deficit in this game. But every team fight, they play more standard, and every team fight, they just play around the super obvious setup that GLuck is playing around. The game just moves away from GLuck. They're still ahead in experience. They're down on structures, but that's only a little bit of damage to the bot fort we're talking about here. GLuck needs to put it in gear. They need to put it in four-wheel drive to win this with coordination. Here's the Rocket Ride. Power Slide combo here. Disc.
Aegis a little early.
But, I mean, Nano Boost onto Li Ming, and then suddenly the damage is just real. Good is like...
I'm back with the rocket. What happened, guys?
That's the reason why Rocket Ride is not meta, is because it does very much the same thing that Riptire does, in fact, and you're untargetable. But when
you're
it's done, you're done. You're not there.
You're not there to provide the damage that your team needs.
And this is the turning point in this game. Now, GLuck has shown their cards, they've shown their hand, and Tempest knows how to play around what GLuck is running here, which is essentially ridiculous. And Tempest has run, again, an auto comp that's super rare, and they're definitely showboating a little bit with this, but it's a comp that has a lot of merit to it. GLuck's composition equally has a lot of merit, but when they commit to these heroics, it means that the game that we get here is... Oh, God.
Oh!
It means that the game that we get here looks like this. There's a dead bell tower. Tempest has, again, seized control after that first fight with Heroics. GLuck's dying, man.
I do not have words. I lost all the languages that I've learned before, including Spanish.
Well, I don't know if there's
That means
words.
I can't order in Chipotle anymore.
I don't know if there's words in any language that is known to the human tongue that can describe this game right now. But you and I are going to try. It's our jobs. Sign's coming in here. He's looking for the protect on this bell tower. He will get it. Meanwhile, it's triple altar. So if anybody dies, it's a disaster.
No! They're not super behind compared to game 1 and 2. And only 4 HP apart. Of course, the macro part, we do have to take that into account. And Tempest will be just running away from this point on. But for Tempest too, they wanted to have some crazy perfect APOC with the Sunder, which didn't happen too many times. Really great cleanses coming out from White Wing from KCB today.
The thing is that Tempest is trading up, and they have control of this bell tower, and they have a global, which is matched by ETC. But it means that GLuck has to win a fight. And that means that they need to make this combo work, right? Stage dive traps everybody. You see the big face melt, then it's a leap into the rocket ride, and then if like everyone's low but nobody dies, then you use the Scarlet Aegis, and then people survive. They need to win those fights, GLuck.
This is another problem. Junkrat can do a little bit, but it'll take a while when Good is pressuring it like this far, because Overload actually took bouncy, which means your frag does not travel as long. So you do actually have to be in closer of a range to actually do the damage to the bell tower.
Yeah, well, Dami is intentionally eating these shots too because they just want to keep the bell tower alive.
Oh, yeah.
Hyde can just heal him. So GLuck has no way to realistically take this without a hard engage. Overlord is super low. They actually pop Aegis. This is going to be the fight they're looking for. Good gets pulled. He gets out though, and he's got the nano boost. Rocket Ride is not going to catch him, and he's got Mirror Ball. He's doing so much damage here.
He actually missed. We can't like slow your rocket ride down, but he's already back with less damage.
Basically, Tempest is trying to force GLuck into a situation where they just get 10 more on this one, or if they, if they want, they could retake the bell tower while Tempest gets double 4. But either way, they're trading in their favor. Asgard's coming down.
They know the rotation. They exactly know the rotation, so they're pulling back themselves into a bell tower location.
Look at this dismount by Sign. Very well played.
Spots Roxer as well.
Okay, lockdown's in, but he gets stuck. He's out on his own. Good can't save him, but Hyde's coming over. KCB is getting blown up. Goodbye.
Overlord is also really low stage dive for nothing when the entire member of TP right next to the Sapper. Instead, there's isolation onto Roxer. No escape for you. You had your stage dive.
He's dead, and that's another reset for Good.
No leap.
He's got the nano.
Asgard already went in long time ago.
It's insane how many teleports you get, actually, with Nano Boost. He's just able to travel such a great distance. Then he gets the resets.
Can he?
I mean, no. Sorry.
Just delay, right?
He can delay,
boss,
but for what? This is GG. He's just gonna, do something funny here.
Oh, 1v1 trade value! Not even needed. So they actually delay a few seconds, but that's gonna be it.
Yep.
Rotate down, take that altar game.
I think that might have actually been an intentional death there from Thrall as well, just for the fun of it, but lockdown comes down, and that is going to be game over. Tempest will take the 3-0. And what was one of our, I'd say, more interesting games here, GLuck, since Raven has left the scene. Showboating on both sides. Pretty unlike Heroes of the Storm Korea teams to draft this way, but it does end up being Tempest who takes the 3 points away. And I think we will once again see a difference of opinion on the faces and the emotions of the GLuck team. In just a moment, we get that camera shot. You can see exasperation, laughs, It's just one of those days.
They tried something else as Hyde kind of as let me show you how to play Ana. And they were trying to get that on as a revenge type of a draft, just going in all the way to the back, but no actual connections with stage dive, the leap, and the rocket ride.
I don't even remember seeing a leap, honestly.
Well, it's mostly used as an escape tool.
Yeah. Well, good obviously tops the damage chart. He's got his banana boosted, and, you know, it's just how that goes. Overlord, this is his shenanigans or heroics, whatever you want to call it, at the end there, delayed their game time, so much so that the record time is 0 minutes and 0 seconds.
And I would go home, and because we had some crazy actions, especially post-10, couldn't really focus on Lockdown's rotation, how he was perfectly soaking up. He does have a lot of experience, of course. We do have the number, but I would wonder if he was actually putting out some great rotations for the team. He was oftentimes late because there was a big push all the time for the top lane. He lost the turrets early on, which forced him to go back earlier, which he was not there, so you lose some minions. But we'll see how good Lockdown actually is on that dock. I think he's getting more practices in so that he gets better, of course.
We may have set a record, GLuck. Today is that last match was our 10th 3-0 in a row.
Yeah.
I don't think that has ever happened before in any region. So the tier list is set, man.
But you have to think about the game, like not today, certainly not today, but yesterday's games.
They pushed us to the edge. They certainly
did. They were
did.
really close.
And they were really fun too.
Even one Supernova game against Genji, that was a close one, somewhat too. And just late, some weird core ending calls, I would say. The focusing when they're going for the core, like either going for the hero or the core, make a call, not the split.
The thing that I take away from today's matches and yesterday's matches, if I'm totally honest with everyone at home and with you here, is that Feliz played really standard drafts and really standard strategies and clearly prepared really well for trying to take a map off ballistics, but also trying to make the most of a best of 5. And I don't know if I could say the same about the strategy we saw from GLuck today, but if you're going to eventually make it one day to the top, it's not going to be off of cheese. It's not going to be off of shenaniganry. It's going to be the teams that started at the bottom that tried to play standard, tried to close the gap. And that's why Europe closed the gap on Korea last year, and why it's still very close between the top team, Dignitas in Europe, and Genji here. And that's something I think some of these lower teams need to take away, because it may be a fun game to see those heroics locked in, but you will not walk away from this series with any valuable experience. Real talk.
Real talk from Wolf. Yes, I do agree on lots of the parts. It seems like GLuck is going towards, with Darvish on the team, it seems like they're going towards that Raven path. And Feliz just going towards that Blossom path, actually. So that's a good summarize, I would say. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good analogy.
Uh-huh.
I think that for GLuck, we do have to add that they had, which we mentioned a few times, and if you haven't been following this entire year of HGC Korea, you might not know, but Relic was banned from professional play. He was by far their best player and one of the better Genjis in Korea. He would have had to adjust the meta, banning Genji every game. Now he'd have to adjust, but so they had to rebuild their team last minute, put Myson on the roster, got Asgard in there. The whole team was completely rebuilt. Some of the players moved up as well. So it's tough to expect this team to face that hardship, forced to rebuild at the last second, to be looking for that starship that, you know, I feel like Feliz is trying to head towards, that Supernova is trying to head towards. But yeah, that was a far cry from a close series. Like, that was certainly not.
Yeah, as you're having real talk, we just had the Korean Open Division a few days ago, and their drafting was so much better than GLuck. Let's be honest. They knew all the they knew the top heroes. They were playing it, and they're making it work. And I think really GLuck needs to stand up in the drafting part first, then get some coordination together, because they against Tempest, and Tempest even looked a little sloppy at times.
Sure. We're going to take a look at some of these highlights. Like, this is I think the power of Deckard Cain plus a Nubarok when it signs a Nubarok. I mean, you see that root right there? That was actually Hyde dropping the root, just expecting that the mine might miss. If it does, it gets rooted either way. But it hit. And here's another root. The Rockstar was just abused this game.
I thought he got rooted trying to charge in. That was a nice root.
It's an 11-minute, 7-second game where Tempest just totally dominated the old-school Ana Malthael. Falls flat on its face here. I mean, this team fight, frankly, isn't even that interesting. Overlord was cocooned before he could eat the nano boost, so the entire composition was built off of an insanely coordinated team fight that they just could never muster.
And let's see what we're gonna have. Notice lockdowns alone. Nice in there. There's the leap on the left, focusing on the Dami, but Dami wins.
Yep. This is one of those fights that I feel like this might have been one of the better fights for GLuck, but they just couldn't quite nail it in the end, and Tempest just avoided their combos. It's like when if you come charging into any sort of situation with all your cards on the table, then your opponent's going to know how to counter you. We're going to hear from Hyde, from Team Tempest, the support player, and Chico's going to translate the interview for you guys.
정말 승리 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Congrats, Hyde.
오늘 무난한 3대0 경기 하셨는데요.
Solid 3-0.
저희가 지금 최근에 연습을 많이 하고 있는데 그 결과가 좀 잘 나오고 있는 것 같아서 기분이 좋아요.
We're doing a lot of practices with the new changes.
이 세트 이제 용의 둥지에서 초반에
these kind of results
탑에서
really
주도권 가져가셨어요.
proving our practices.
사실 약간 역킬이 나올 수도 있는 좀 위험한 상황일 수도 있었는데 오히려 잡아내시면서 주도권 가져오셨어요. 어떻게 그런 순간에 판단을 하실 수 있었나요?
그 부분이 이제 그 락다운 선수가 다미 선수 살린다고 앞에 있다가 먼저 죽었거든요.
네.
Lockdown was trying to save
저희가 상대방이 스킬 다 빠진 것 같아가지고 한번 다시 노려보자고 해서
and then we wanted to bait that and turn that around a little
한
bit.
것 같아서 팀워크가 좀 빛을 발했던 것
I think our
같습니다.
teamwork really shined. I think they're talking about
그리고
the
이
Dragon
세트
Tower
얘기를
game
계속 할
top.
수밖에 없는 게 이 세트에 뭐킬 수를 1위로 달성하시면서 거의 뭐 MVP 그 장면 그 세트 때문에 아마 MVP 되신 것 같은데요. 한타 내내 또 지원가로 1선에서 딜을 거의 하신 것 같아요.
You're actually doing damage.
아니 이거를 어떻게 저희가 받아들여야 되나요? 너무 충격적이었어요. 딜러로 1선에서 하는 경우는 많이 봤어도 지원가가 1선에서 이렇게 활약을 그게 가능한가요?
이제 힐러 중에서는 카라진만 되는 것 같고 아무래도 이동기가 좋으니까 제가 앞에서 어그로 끌면은 딜러들이 아무래도 편하게 딜을 할 수 있기 때문에 그런 거는 이제 좀 제가 자주 하는 그런 플레이인 것 같아요.
That's a play style that I actually do a lot.
그런 면이 있나요? 약간
only possible with Karazim.
지원도 하고 딜도 하고.
Is there any other support that's like Karazim?
그 캐릭만이 가능한 것 같아요. 다른 캐릭들은 그냥 뒤에서 좀 지원해주고 이런 역할만 할 수 있는 것 같아요.
아니 안 그래도 오늘 이 세트 전체적인 그 템페스트의 조합이 약간 좀 많이 보였던 이때까지 많이 꺼냈던 조합인 것 같은데요. 특히 카라짐을 선두로 해서 그 조합이 혹시 이제 스크림에서는 좀 성적 괜찮았나요?
저희 선수들이 가장 잘하는 픽이었던 것 같아요. 그냥 대회에서는 이제 좀 더 무난한 픽, 공격적인 픽 했던 것 같은데 이제 안정적인 픽도 많이 쓸 수가 있어서 아무래도 포지션 변경이 좀 컸던 것 같아요.
I think it's also due to the role swap that we had.
그렇게 무난한 승리 하셨는데 이제 다음 경기는 또 발리스틱스와의 매치가 기다리고 있는데요. 오늘 직관 장소에도 팬분들 많이 오시고 또 이제 시청하고 계신 팬분들 계실 텐데요. 팬분들께 한마디 해주시고 또 각오도 부탁드립니다.
저희 템페스트 팬들이 굉장히 많은 걸로 제가 알고 있어요. 놀랐어요. 그 이스터 때도 많이 와주셔서 인사해주시고 응원해주셔서. 네, 저희가 또 이제 성적은 좀 안 좋았다 보니까 이번에는 좀 좋은 성적으로 먼저 블리츠컨 가고 싶습니다. 응원해주셔서 항상 감사드립니다.
그런 멘트였던 것 같은데요. 아니 근데 성적이 또 안 나왔어도 그래도 상위권의 템페스트는 역시 템페스트죠.
Tempest, you guys are still good.
이제 저희 이제 인터뷰 여기까지 마치고요. 좀 승리 축하드리고요. 블리즈컨까지 좋은 결과 있으시길 바라겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
네, 저희 다음 이제 화면 넘어가는 약간 큐 사인 같은 건데요.
They're gonna
이게
do
제가
their
하고 있어요.
final
오늘
moments,
MVP시니까
and
같이
I'm not
해주시면
gonna
정말
translate that, of
좋을 것
course,
같아요.
but
네.
That's about it from Hyde.
자, 저희는 인터뷰 여기까지 마치도록 하고요. 그럼 중계진으로 넘어가도록 하겠습니다.
There you go. Well executed tonight. There was some showboating there at the end, but they will take the win, which is important that they take it with a 3-0 to try to maintain that second place spot because BlizzCon qualification will be fought over third seed because of the win for Eastern Clash. So here we are, you know, GLuck falls behind FaZe and all last split, like in phase 1, GLuck was the stronger team and they actually took games off of some of the top teams in Korea. You know, that's where we came up with the term relicking the healing fountain because Relic was doing that. GLuck had a lot of unique strategies, really good execution.
Yeah, lots of Maiev, Sonya, Diablo, Medivh.
But this season, FaZe is showing way more promise, and sure, they're one series behind, but FaZe almost took a map off Ballistics yesterday. You could argue that the game 3 was fairly close as well. And GLuck with a 1-9 scoreline, they're not guaranteed relegated yet because Supernova's just barely above, but it's not a good sign, man. I hope that they can get it together.
Well, we'll see the comparison. Not with GLuck, but Genji going against FaZe. They got 3-0 against Supernova today. Against FaZe, let's see if there's any difference. But FaZe, they were able to make some work done against Ballistics.
It's kind of hype, honestly, tomorrow's match because FaZe played so well against Ballistics.
Yeah, the expectation is actually really high.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Like, FaZe could really come up with... I think they're probably so motivated after that win. They've had a whole day off today to prepare for that match tomorrow, whereas Genji literally played today, so they're sitting at home scrimming and practicing watching that match. And then the second match of the night is, you know, one of the better ones. Obviously, Miracle versus Blossom was the closest match we had on paper, but this is probably number 2. With Ballistics showing some holes against FaZe, Miracle showing some really good late game. Tomorrow's matches could be pretty awesome.
Yep, I'm expecting a lot from Miracle, even though they lost against Blossom. Big mistakes late game. Seems like their late game problem came back for some reason. But Ballistics, they're also having problems here and there yesterday against FaZe. So tomorrow's matches, maybe not 3-0s.
Hopefully not, man. I'm hoping we don't get the 12-3-0 nightmare. I was going to say the dream, but it's not really ideal. Yeah. That's going to do it for us for tonight. You guys could, of course, check out Europe and North America here on this channel. You can check it out on the Heroes of the Storm website for the esports section to follow that schedule. But we'll see you guys tomorrow here for Korea Action.